Right now at 4:30, governor's meeting.
Governor Bobby Jindal sits down with recently elected John Bel Edwards. The details on their discussion and the promises Governor Jindal is making to the state.
And Brandon Robinson Memorial. Loved ones march to honor the life of the man who was shot to death on Bourbon Street. How much Crime Stoppers is offering for information on his shooter.
And cooler temperatures are on the way. So David Singleton, when will we see that thermometer drop?
Well, Randy, we're already seeing it this morning. Temperatures across southeast Louisiana anywhere from 2 to about 9 degrees cooler than they were yesterday. I'll talk about those temperatures and tell you what you can expect for the next couple of days coming up in a minute.
This morning, we are following breaking news. A man was gunned down in Algiers. It happened early this morning, just before 1 a.m. at the corner of Belleville and Diarma Streets. Police say the 45-year-old was found lying in the street and later died at the hospital. Police haven't said if they had a motive or a suspect yet in the shooting, but we will continue to follow that for you.
A memorial was held last night for Brandon Robinson, the man shot and killed on Bourbon Street.
And Crime Stoppers has now raised the reward to find his killer to $7,500. This comes as loved ones march from the Harley Davidson shop in the French Quarter to the Prohibition Bar to honor Robinson's memory. Robinson worked at that bar but wasn't on duty when the shooting happened. Police are looking for 2 men in this investigation: the man who punched Robinson before the shooting and the other person who shot him. If you can help police with this investigation, please call Crime Stoppers at number 822-1111.
And police are searching for the man who robbed a bank in the French Quarter yesterday afternoon. The man on your screen right here is the suspect police are trying to identify. Police say he robbed the Regions Bank on Charter Street. The FBI also believes he's responsible for robbing the bank inside the Rouse's supermarket on Franklin Avenue back in October. If you know who this man is, call police.
Well, the Army has released the photos of the local soldier killed in a Black Hawk helicopter crash at Fort Hood in Texas. 35-year-old Jason Smith from Destrehan died in that crash. The photo there you see on your right is a picture of he and his wife. Smith was one of the 4 soldiers who died in that accident last week. Army officials say that the team is still investigating the cause of the crash. A federal judge has ordered the minority owner of an oil well to pay millions of dollars in fines. And Anadarko Petroleum Corp has been ordered to pay $159.5 million. The corporation owned a 25% share of the well, but oil giant BP was the ones who were operating it. Prosecutors had previously asked for $1 billion, but the Justice Department says they are pleased that Anadarko is now being held accountable.
Right now, 4:30, desperate for answers.
As the country mourns the victims of the San Bernardino mass shooting, investigators are still trying to find a motive. The latest on the investigation and how the victims are being remembered.
And officers indicted, 4 officers in St. Bernard Parish are under fire for the death of an inmate, what they're being accused of and how long they could be in prison.
And be sure to grab a jacket because we are about to feel like winter. It is cold out this morning. Damon, how about those temperatures though? When will they be dropping and what can we expect today?
Well, they've gotten pretty low already this morning across the North Shore Mississippi Gulf Coast. Temperatures for most of you are in the 30s. I'll tell you whether that's upper 30s or lower 30s coming up in a minute.
And we're following some breaking news from overnight. 12 people are dead and 5 others injured after a bomb attack in Egypt.
Officials say 3 men were seen throwing a firebomb while passing by a club on motorcycles. Officials say the blaze was put out quickly. As of now, no one has come forward to claim responsibility for that attack.
And the man arrested for shooting Tulane med student Peter Gold has been indicted by a grand jury. The man on your screen right here, Uric Kane, has been charged with attempted first-degree murder, attempted aggravated kidnapping, armed robbery, and attempted armed robbery with a firearm. His bond is set for $6 million. The indictment comes after Peter Gold was released from the hospital. And Gold was shot when he tried to help a woman who was allegedly being kidnapped by a man in a hooded jacket. And that man was identified as Kane. And in the video here, you can see Gold fall to the ground after being shot in the stomach. Kane attempting to shoot him several more times, but the gun was jammed.
Now to Jefferson Parish, where funeral arrangements have been announced for the mother and her 2 children who were killed in apparent murder-suicide in Marrero. Kelly Caden and Liam Motto will be laid to rest next Friday at a visitation of Our Lady of Catholic Church in Ames Boulevard in Marrero. Services will begin at 10:30 a.m. Officials in Jefferson Parish say the mother and children were killed by David Motto David was Kelly's husband and the boy's father. Mato then killed himself.
Former Olympic athlete convicted of murdering his girlfriend could be released from prison early. A South African parole board is set to discuss whether Oscar Pistorius could go free after serving just 10 months of his 5-year sentence. Now, he's found guilty in the shooting death of his girlfriend, Reva Steinkamp, back in 2013. Now, sources say he could be released as early as this Friday.
To Minneapolis now, where shots rang out Monday night during protests, injuring at least 5 people.
Yeah, the protests are in response to the death of Jamar Clark, who people say was shot by police when he was handcuffed. At this time, it's not clear on the exact number of people shot, but police say the 5 victims did not suffer any life-threatening injuries.
And in the wake of those protests in Minneapolis, the NAACP will host a concert in Clark's honor. The memorial will take place outside the 4th Police Precinct in Minneapolis later on today. Protesters, as you see here, have been staging rallies since the November 15th shooting, demanding that investigators release all video evidence of the deadly shooting. Global fight against ISIS is growing this morning as British lawmakers debate and vote on a measure to launch airstrikes in Syria.
And here at home, the defense secretary says more U.S. special forces will be deployed to the region to take on the militant group.
Nicole Killian joined us live from Washington with more on the Pentagon announcement. And Nicole, do we know how many U.S. troops could be involved?